What is up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about Biomutant. Biomutant is a new open world action RPG developed by THQ Nordic, a smaller studio of about 20 people. So it's got kind of an indie-sized studio, but they set out to make this ambitious, AAA priced open world game, and they set out to make a very unique game, a very whimsical game, and I think it succeeds in a lot of those areas, and I think it falls short in some other ones. Reviews on this game are pretty varied. Honestly, there's some, it's varied in the way that there's either people that love it or people that hate it. And of course, the stance that I usually take, and I try to take, is that I try to take the good with the bad and be like, this is why it's good and this is what could be better. And I genuinely do not hate it. I don't know if I love it, but I don't hate it. And it is easy to get lost in the world of this game. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm just going to start off with the story. The story basically, well, why don't we start with character? Your character, you make your little critter and you give it, make a breed for it, and you pick a class, and you give it mutations. And that's what's interesting about this character creator, is that no two characters are probably going to be the same, simply because no two characters are going to have the same exact genetic code, which is basically what you're going to put into your little character here, your critter. Stats like vitality and health and side powers and key energy and key power, which is basically your magic power if you're going to be a mage, and strength and stuff or melee damage, and it's really cool. It's a pretty, it's got the basic character creator, RPG elements with a little bit of its own flair added in there, which I think is pretty cool. After you set out to make your own character, you're put into the world, and you're given a choice right off the bat. Slight spoiler, not really. Given a choice right off the bat to either align with one tribe or the other. One tribe is going to save the Tree of Life in the center of the map, which will then, save the planet that you're on. It's a dystopian Earth. Humans have left long ago, and you're kind of just these mutated little creatures. And so you are either going to align with them to save the World Tree, or you're going to align with the other tribe to then destroy the World Tree using the help of, and, stop me if you heard this one, these 4 beasts on each corner of the map. If you played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, that might sound pretty familiar to you. It's kind of a straight ripoff from that game, but honestly, I don't have too much of a problem with it. This is more of an initial thoughts video, kind of a thought progression type thing. I haven't finished the game, I'm not super far into the game. Kind of doing a bunch of side quests and exploration right now, so I haven't actually fought any of them yet, but very Zelda-esque. That's exactly what it reminded me of. So anyway, you either make that decision to destroy the Tree of Life with the help of those beasts, or you decide to save the Tree of Life and unite the other tribes around the world. Is basically the gist of it, what you want to do from the jump. Let's talk about some good things about Biomutant. Good things I think they did really well. Number one is the world. The world is absolutely beautiful. It is so well crafted. There's not a ton of verticality, but that's not the kind of world you live in. It's very dilapidated, very, very foresty, of course, from all the vegetation, but it's so lush and green and vibrant, and the colors really pop, and they did a phenomenal job with all of that. They did a great job with the style, what they wanted to go for, that whimsical kind of feeling, almost like a fairy tale. They absolutely nailed that. The world and the style are fantastic, and the exploration is pretty cool too. I actually found myself getting really lost in exploration for a couple hours at a time in the past couple of days, just because I think it is a cool world to explore. I think the music is nice. I think it fits. I think that although some things can get a little bit repetitive, I think going and finding things emergently and meeting different characters and doing different side quests is cool. Now, the side quests kind of boil down to fetch quests for people, which is a little bit disappointing. There's not a lot of depth and variety in those side quests, which I know a lot of people will find a little boring and repetitive. I kind of didn't mind it, but that is how side quests kind of are. And I thought it was pretty cool. There's plenty of things to explore in the world and find other than that as well. Puzzles to get cool loot, and enemies to fight, and stuff that'll just kind of surprise you. So I think the world is decent for exploration and amazing when it comes to style. And I think they did a really cool thing with the light and dark aura choices. You were able to make decisions based on your actions and dialogue with other characters that either make you either make you get dark aura points or light aura points. And with these aura points, you can then stack those up and basically put those into abilities that you want your critter to have. So basically, I'm trying to do like kind of like a dark mage, evil kind of run through here. So I'm putting my stuff in a dark aura point, so I can then get dark abilities, and that adds a lot to the replayability and the uniqueness of your own character. I find that pretty cool, and you can mix and match. You can go half dark, half light. You don't have to do one or the other, and that's pretty cool. So some bad things about this, also kind of tying in some of the good things about this. As far as the story, I think the story is okay. I think the story, it's hard to say that it works because it feels very fractured. Once you do decide what tribe you're going to be in, it's like it doesn't really make a difference. You can kind of go and you can kind of align with other tribes as well and do your own thing after that, and your central goal becomes a little bit muddy, and there's definitely a disconnect there, because I think they wanted to go with like a very choosy type of system here, but they ended up kind of fracturing the story, because if you choose one thing, then the other objective seems stupid to pursue. But if you don't, like, you have to choose one, so whichever one you choose, you're going to want to do everything in the world, which means fighting the bosses, which means that, like, you might want to, like, just destroy another tribe at their base or whatever. And honestly, the tribes don't have the same goals, so it feels like that was an afterthought, the fact that you'd be doing things that go against what your main goal is, depending on what you pick in the beginning. Another big one is unfocused combat. The combat is one of the points of contention about this game. This is probably like the hottest kind of topic when discussing this game on YouTube and stuff, is that the combat feels, to me, there's not a lot of impact in like sword play and stuff like that, and there's not a lot of variety in combat, moment to moment stuff. There's a parry system, which is cool, the timing and whatnot to do that, and then capitalize off of it, but it's lacking something. It's lacking a little bit of variety. It's lacking that variety that you want, and that punch that you want in an action RPG. And I think in an action RPG, that's one of the most important things you need to have. I do think the combat is deep. A lot of people don't think that. I think the combat is deep because you have so many different ways of playing. And like I said, right now I'm doing like a mage thing, so I'm like using a lot of key energy and magic, and you kind of kit your character out around that, basic RPG stuff. But I think the combat needs to be a little bit more, of a focus, and I think that devs have come out and said they're going to fix some of the impact issues and things, so that's actually pretty good. But as far as combat, it's decent. It's not fantastic, but I am having fun with it. Luckily for me, I like a lot of colors and stuff. That like does a lot for me. I don't know why. So with all like the magic stuff flying around, I think it looks pretty cool, and you do get into a bit of a flow with it. One of the most annoying parts of this game is the narrator. The narrator is so freaking annoying. Guys, I get the design choice they were going for here. It's kind of narrated like it's a storybook, like the narrator's kind of like telling a story to you in like second person, like it like third person. I don't even know which person it is, but he talks for these animals, and basically any character you meet, they're gonna speak, and they're gonna kind of sound like a little bit like Animal Crossing kind of characters, like, but like he talks over them like he's translating for you, and that's exactly what he's doing. I knew there's a narrator beforehand. I knew he was going to narrate some stuff. I did not know he'd be narrating literally the vast majority of the game. The only things that aren't narrated is when you make a light choice or a dark choice, and the little light bat or dark bat talks to you. Other than that, everything else is narrated. All character voices are narrated by this narrator. And not only is that super annoying, but it also takes away from the immersion, the fact that I want to be able to hear the character's voices. I want to be able to talk to the character, like feel like I'm actually talking to the character. That's big for me in a game like this, in an RPG, where your whole point is to feel immersed. I don't feel as immersed when the narrator is just talking to me the whole time. It feels like a fourth wall break almost. So as well as it being annoying, it also takes away from the immersion. So I don't really understand that design choice, but it is what it is. You can turn off the narrator's voice and just read, but then you feel like you're missing a part of the game, so I don't know about that. And then one more thing is the menus. Now, I had originally made this video and talked about how the menus were super confusing and just all over the place, which I still believe they are. I was kind of frustrated because I couldn't get a grip or a handle on it, and yesterday I actually got a little bit more familiarized with the menus. I don't think the game does a good job of telling you how the menus work, like really what goes on in there. But once you spend a little bit of time with it and you explore a little bit and you find, different, weapon brokers and, or vendors, if you will, and clothes vendors, you start to figure out how things work and, the currency system and the add-on system and the mods and stuff you can put to your weapons and armor. So that's nothing new for RPGs particularly, but in this game it felt very clunky to work. So speaking of clunky, sorry, kind of backtracking here, the combat's a little bit clunky. That needs to be fixed, but it's got some polish issues. I think Biomutant does. It's got issues when it comes to immersion and some repetitiveness. I think the game definitely has potential. Like if the devs listened, which it appears they are, if the devs listened to the criticisms given to this game and then came back and like a Biomutant 2, like a Biomutant sequel got greenlit, I'd be excited for that because I would think they would definitely shore up some of these issues when it comes to, the variety of stuff in the world and like the lack of, they would tone down that repetition. Maybe they'd let characters talk. Combat would get better. But I think for what it is, Biomutant is actually a decent game. Now, since it is like AAA full price, I can't in good conscience say like it is fully worth $60 right now. I would say watch a bunch of reviews and then make your decision based off of that. But as far as I'm concerned, Biomutant is a good game. It is good. It is not great. It is also not bad. If anybody tells you that it's bad, I think you should really I think you should listen to them, but I think you should kind of question it because I don't see anything in this game that makes it absolutely terrible. And this is me kind of going in already. I am going in a bit. I went into this game a little bit with lowered expectations because I did see reviews on YouTube. No spoiler reviews, of course, but I did see stuff on YouTube about that. So that's what I think about Biomutant, guys, at least right now. I might make another video once I finish the entire game, either, giving it ups or giving it more downs or keeping it the same. So thank you for listening, and peace out.